It's still happy hour with John Gaskins. This round's on me.
Well, last week we talked about how it was coming back, and now it's back. Sioux Falls Canaries baseball at the Birdcage. Couple games in the books on Tuesday afternoon after Monday's rainout for the home opener, and games all week through Sunday. The first 7 of 50 scheduled games. And again, the last time the Canaries were on the field playing a game that counts in the standings before Tuesday, they were chasing after a title and oh so close, and this place was just full and electric, and it was a city celebration. It felt like a culmination of 5 years of this organization just building under this new ownership to go from, let's face it, kind of a laughing stock of the league in a lot of facets, wins, losses, facility, attendance too. I mean, it's kind of a shining beacon. I'm a little biased. I work for the team and I've been through all of it. And this man has been a part of the squad since 2022, the summer of 2022. He's Brian Jamros, the president and the head of all the day-to-day operations, and here we are. It's exciting. I know it's crazy. I know everybody in the operations has been putting in a lot of long hours. We talked to Mike Meyer about the baseball and how a lot of the team is back, a lot of fresh faces trying to run it back this year. And a lot of baseball left, but it's off to a great start at 4-1.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've been around to day to day from between September and now to sense kind of what kind of wave, what kind of anticipation, what kind of community feel there has been for this squad.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me, John. Obviously, you're a big piece of what we do, so it's good to have you back at the ballpark. Anytime that you're around, it means that baseball's happening, so we're excited about that. But it's been a great offseason. Obviously, like you said, last time we were on the field before yesterday, heartbreaking fashion. We won't get into that too much. I know you and Mike covered that significantly.
I just prefer to remember just how magical it was for the whole playoffs, but certainly those last 2 nights.
And it was, and our community, just unbelievable support from the Sioux Falls and surrounding community, and it really, filtered into the off-season to start the off-season. Season tickets are up in terms of numbers and number of purchases, so we're excited about that, and just an overall excitement. And I think that when you look at things right now, the Sioux Falls sports scene, besides the colleges and the high schools and everything that always comes with that, that community spirit. I mean, look at the Stampede. I know you mentioned it this morning, on an interview, but we're as big as fans as anybody. We love this, and we hope that we get the cup and I'll get it done quick on Friday night.
Yeah.
And because obviously the pressure mounts as the games get closer, Game 4, Game 5, and anything can happen. So wish them the best of luck. But then you look at our season last year, a couple pitches, maybe one pitch away from winning a championship and trying to get back there again. Stampede, obviously, get to the playoffs, kind of that same formula.
There they are.
Get there, get that experience, and now you're 1 win away. So, again, I want to make sure that shout out, wish them all the best of luck.
Yeah.
Head coach Ryan and that whole squad there just do a great job, and we're excited for them. And then we turn around and the fans here don't get a break, and I think that's new, right? If you're a true Sioux Falls fan, Stampede, just Canaries, you haven't had a break because each season has filtered into the next now for 3 consecutive seasons, and we're really excited about that. So.
Sure. I mean, I don't know if you recall, but the whole Stampede team was sitting just off
right
to the
here,
right of us here in the upper bowl, and I think it was Game 5, and whatever, it was tied, it was tight, and
you brought them down to the dugout.
I brought them down to the dugout, and they were more than happy to help. I mean, first of all, they were making plenty of noise and being awesome in the first place, but then, we got them to the dugout and trying to get the rally going, and they misunderstood me, thinking that they were going to stand on the dugout. Guys, the fans want to see. You got to, but that was magical, and it's been several years since both teams have been under the same ownership, but to have that sort of connection, to see them tweet at the Canaries, good luck on opening day, that turned out to be rained out on Monday, very cool. But yeah, in both cases, just a cool, it does show community, and having a connection to the community matters, and we can get into how the Canaries have done
absolutely.
that. But winning does matter. I mean, I was a part of the operation toward the tail end of several lean years in the wins and losses column, and we've gone through it with Mike, who was managing those years, as to why that was. But we would always say in helping promoting the team, hey, it's still a great experience to come out to the ballpark. It still is fun. There's something special at minor league baseball, even compared to major league baseball, that, no matter what the wins and losses are, a lot of people that show up, especially when your team is going through lean years, they don't even know what the team's record is. They might not be able to name a player on the team, but they're going to have an experience at the ballpark, and that's what we always sold, and that's what we on the staff could control. But the baseball's been superb the last 3 years. Nobody in the league has won more games the last 3 years.
Yep.
And you, again, day in, day out, you've been able to see the transformation. How much does it matter in attendance and interest? Because now we kind of have a correlation. We've figured out how much winning helps interest and attendance.
It certainly helps, and I think that the biggest thing though that it does is there's a buzz when the people are here. Yeah. So you are right. We still go after that fan first experience. We want everyone that when they come to the ballpark to have just a phenomenal experience, and we're going to fall short. There's just going to be some things that fall short of expectations for one reason or another. But the goal is. We'll go Walt Disney on people, strive for perfection and settle for excellence. And that's really what we're trying to do. But, I don't think people quite understand the turnover that you have in your staff, not necessarily the front office, but your food and beverage world. We're seasonal upon seasonal. So you might have 6 games on and then you have 6 days off. And a lot of the people that want to work in the summer don't necessarily want that. They want to get as much money in their pocket, right? Yeah. And so we really try and do our best. And for example, school day yesterday as our home opener. It's a challenge, number one, with 2,000 kids anytime they're on a field trip. You add on, that people want to come out, and it's hard to staff during the day at 11 o'clock in the morning, to get a full crew. So we have an unbelievable team, but winning certainly creates a buzz. Playing good baseball, even in one-run games. If you look at our first 3 games of this year, we had a +3 run differential, and we were 3-0. That shows grit, determination, and what that shows is good baseball. Executing at the right time, whether it be a sac fly or a sac bunt, a huge pitch here or there, the right play in the infield or the outfield, again, maybe taking away an extra base that might have been there by the right throw or a cutoff. So I'm really excited about this team. Mike and Dual do a great job all offseason of putting together a great squad out there. There's always tough decisions on who's coming back. With the salary cap league, you really have to look at some things there. But I look behind us, and you just mentioned, what's special about minor league baseball. It's this right here. These guys are not just out here taking a few cuts and heading back in and watching TV. They're working at it right now. They're trying to get better. They want to put on a great show. Obviously, there's some individual things that they want. Some of them have dreams to go to Major League Baseball. Some of them are on the back nine and just want to keep playing. Yes. But they all work hard, and that's what I'm most proud of with this team is the culture that Mike and Dual have built inside that clubhouse, and it filters down to Ryan, our clubhouse manager, and our front office team is we're going to outwork everybody. We're going to work hard. We're going to have fun, and that trickles over to the baseball. It trickles over to the fans and the front office, and it's just a great place to be.
Yeah, it is, and some cliches are true. Cliches are cliches because they can be true, and these guys do, for the most part, play for the love of the game. They have aspirations of maybe playing at a higher level and, of course, making more money and making baseball their living. But for most of them, baseball, at least playing baseball, is not their living. I mean, a lot of them are in this because it's not for the money at this level.
Yeah, especially in the summer months. These guys are not, this is not, get their income for the entire year and then go sit on the couch. I mean, they grind it out all summer year, 100 games in 116 days with a little fluctuation maybe. And then they go to winter ball, and then they're going to lessons, and then, going to teach. Some work some delivery jobs in the off season, and then, go to the lab and work on it. And, whatever it might be, these guys work hard. And it shows, and what a great place to play baseball, because Sioux Falls is just that, a hard-working community, a lot of blue-collar folks, and so I think we kind of take that on the Canaries every year. It's a little bit different because you only retain 50 to 60% of your players, but the new guys that come in, when you have those veteran players, it's from day one. This is how we do things. This is what we're going to do.
Well, what's been super exciting, fun, heartwarming to me, who used to come out here as a fan/media member before joining the team in 2020, again, tail end of some lean years, was Mike was already the manager, and he was working with very limited resources. The team wasn't capping out with its salary, with its overall payment to players. He said, this was voted on. It's not an opinion. It was voted on by the league. The worst infield in the league. New owners came in April 2021, and Brian Slipka, Twan Albanese, True North Sports Group, and got the new field, got the new video board for the fans. We had an almost eyesore, we may as well not have a scoreboard than the one that we had. Two immediate things that were physical and huge and clear, there's something new here. But Mike's been here the whole time. Mike wanted to manage here, and Jabari wanted to play here. So did Mike Hart, who's been with the team for about 9 years. Before this was all popping and maybe the place to play and the place to be in the league. So from your experience coming aboard in 22, what have you seen that it has all, that has all led to that and made it special beyond some obviously resources that we now have it. Owners are investing, but there's more to it than just that.
Yeah, let's start there though. The owners, like you mentioned, Brian and Twan, just the understanding of what it takes to get people here, because that's a process. Just because you have a scoreboard, just because you redo the infield, you still have to, Mike and Duel still have to be able to talk about, recruit guys to come here. And so I think that just they've done a tremendous job. They live and breathe this when they're here. They come to as many games as they possibly can. They're both here for the playoff run last year, and so they're not just owners that are from afar and say, hey, good luck, here's this. They're here. They're vested in it. They want this team to be successful. They want this to be a pride point for the city of Sioux Falls. Beyond that, it really comes down to the people. Again, you have some crossover. Duel has been here a number of years. Mike has been here a number of years. Some of the players, other veterans, have been through the lean years, for lack of a better term, and have really stuck through it. And then you all of a sudden are able to get some of those pieces that could have made a difference at that time, right? So it is truly the people. Our front office staff, we have just had so much continuity. If you look at it, there's so many people that started as interns with the Sioux Falls Canaries and now have turned into full-time roles. Again, because of the investment from the owners to say, we know we need that. Let's get good people in here that are here year-round, that are promoting the Canaries, that are a part of this. So it's just a blessing and truly just an honor to be here on a daily basis. I don't always say that in January, mid of January when it's 50 below with the wind blowing and, we're trying to figure out how to sell at that time. Yeah. But it is just, again, it starts at the top with the ownership group, and it doesn't matter. Everybody that is a part of this organization, bat boys in front office, yourself, any media that comes out to on-field stuff, to anybody that has a part of this is so important, because we are still lean. But we're mean. We're lean and mean now, and we just have a great staff that wants to work, wants to get after it, and it's just it's always a great day to be at the ballpark.
Yeah, you're right about the interns. They a lot of the sales guys, Allie Linder, the game day operations director, they started as Duel. You've mentioned when you mentioned Duel about 5 minutes ago. That's Duel Higbee, who started as an intern and sales guy and general manager VP, and he's still general manager VP, and he's been here for 13 years. And it's it's a lot of the guys in the press box that nobody ever sees. Randy, the PA announcer, but Chris, the music and sound effects guy, and the guys keeping score, Pat and John and Doug, and they've been doing this for years because this is summer to them. This is the experience. I feel the same way. So it's kind of a great collective thing. It's just kind of like the first day of school yesterday with all these school kids getting out of school before the last day of school to come here. But what is new? I think most people have noticed if they've gone to games in recent years. This isn't your same old. I think the Birdcage has managed to maintain the charm that it had, but a lot of the corrections to may have been what is unpleasant about coming out here. Video board for starters. Team wasn't winning a lot of games for another, but every seat in the house is pretty much new chair backs. What are some other enhancements, particularly over the winter and into this year, that people can expect?
Yeah, if you weren't out to a ball game last year, obviously we went with the baseball green chairbacks. Again, 20 plus years on the upper executive blue seats,
Yes.
which a lot of people fell in love with. Just the
Color, basically.
but when the duct tape and all that,
Yeah.
it just kind of takes away from that fan experience. So the city of Sioux Falls has done a tremendous job since I've been here to really stepping up and being a great partner. Obviously we're city owned, and it takes a partner like that to do some of these things. We haven't had a chance for a regular season game yet, but we have new lights, and so when you make a great play, hit a home run, we're able to have those LED effects with some light show. So we're really excited about that.
If you've been to some Sioux Falls Stampede games lately, I was at the one on Saturday night when they score a goal and you got all those lights everywhere up and down the aisles flickering on. We can expect that eventually.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get that a lot this year. It'll be used mostly for home runs and great moments and Canaries wins. So, and then really the investment has been into people and trying to get what we need in place. So the city, some of the things you talk about, like the press box, we have such an unbelievable press box. The city has done a lot of things that people might not care about. Restroom upgrades. Paint in the restrooms. Getting the showers in the facilities for the visiting clubhouse, getting a new roof and things like that.
The things people don't see. But when I have discussions with them about a new ballpark someday, and some people would say, this park is fine, I'd be like, oh, you don't know what's going on and the things you can't see. But those things have now been addressed. The city owns the park, and as you mentioned, they've stepped up to help make this a good experience.
Absolutely. It is
It's
a true partnership.
Yeah.
And again, when Brian and Twan took over, it was, hey, if you guys invest in this team, the city says we'll invest in this team, but until you do that, we're not going to throw a bunch of money at the stadium. And so it is truly a partnership. Brian was just in town for the opener yesterday, and he was talking a little bit about that with some people, and again, we couldn't be more excited. Obviously, with anytime you're involved with the city, there's a lot of change in leadership, and we've been fortunate with Mayor Tenhaken to really be in our corner, and a big election coming up, and so we hope that continues here for the next 8 years, just like we've done with Mayor Paul.
Yeah, he by the way, earmarked, and this is obviously things that leaders on their way out do, and whether it's a president or a governor or a mayor. And so tell me what you know about this and what can go from it. He kind of left aside, and our own Patrick Lally of SiouxFallsLive.com did write a story about this a few months ago when it happened. $11 million for future renovations or enhancements, I can't remember the exact word, to the Birdcage. Do you know where that might head, or if that's just something that the next leadership is going to have to decide to go through?
It will definitely be next leadership. When they go through their budget process, they do it every year. Imagine, when you're at home and going through a little budget process and you're trying to run a city like Sioux Falls. And so there's definitely conversations. A lot of conversation needs to be had with city council, though, so they better understand and where that money's going, because they're the ones that field the questions more than anybody, besides the mayor. And, and so our biggest thing when a new mayor comes in is, develop that relationship, that this partnership continues, and we're excited to get there. And right now, all the candidates are, extremely busy, right? It's down to crunch time for them. It's their playoff time, and then after that, hopefully those conversations will start to trickle in, and ultimately we know this is our home.
Yeah.
What I've told everybody is, until someone tells us differently, this is our home, and that's what it is. And we, I equate it to, again, owning a home. When you own a home after 20 years, it just becomes old. Oh, that thing's broken, we should probably move, or that. We're now into 60-plus years, so this is a nostalgic ballpark. Yes, are there going to be things that are nicer in a new stadium? Absolutely, that's just life. But I love this ballpark. I think the guys, the nostalgia of it, when the wind's blowing out, the hitters love it, the pitchers hate it, but, vice versa today with the wind blowing in. But there is just a lot of character to this stadium, a lot like the major league teams. When they, the teams that have been around for 100 years, they do renovations, but they keep the integrity of the ballpark, and that's what we've done here. And so, on that point, people know if we're going to stay here, it can't be Band-Aid fixes every year. It's eventually there's going to have to be a larger investment, and so excited to have those conversations, and people know about it at the council, at the mayor level and everything, and it's just going to take time when there's change like this.
The really long game, because you answered the next question, which was how often you get asked about a new stadium someday. We all know the Brian Slipka and Twan publicly, if not aggressively, sought hey, let's put the Birdcage, the new Birdcage, in the Riverline district. between 10th and Cliff and the river, the Big Sioux River, kind of on the east bank part of the extended downtown. And anyway, the city decided we want a new convention center there. That's 8 acres of land, kind of would have jammed the ballpark there, but it would have been a really good spot, more visible spot. But now there's 130 acres of land that are going to, once Morrell's is gone, the Morrell's packing plant, Smithfield, I should say Smithfield, a proud supporter and sponsor of the Sioux Falls Canaries, Smithfield. That's huge city news, transformational news, but it's going to be a few years before their new plant is, the current plant is going to be gone and the new plant is going to be built, and that land will truly be available. But I mean, what could you say on behalf of the owners right now about if that would be a good place for this team, or if that just seems too far away?
Yeah, I think it's we're going to always have the consistent message. Same thing at the Riverline. We just want to be a part of the conversation on the front end, to be able to, publicly state what we would bring to the table. I think that when Riverline was originally rolled out, it was, do you want a baseball stadium downtown? And nobody in their right mind is going to say, okay, 50 baseball games for this amount, But we do a lot more than that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of community events in here. We have a lot going on. As you know, this year, the NSIC baseball tournament. We have Lolly Cooler now here in July. We have Banana Ball coming, in August. And then obviously our 50 baseball regular games of the Canaries and anything beyond that. Town
Tacos
ball
and
games.
Tequila again?
No tacos and tequila this year.
Okay.
And that's just, it comes down to routing and where people are and everything like that, plus our availability. So, we want to be in the conversation. That's all we ask for. And just like we said after they made a decision on the Riverline, if that's what the city leaders feel is best and that's what the community wants, we're all in favor of it. And then we need to turn our attention to where we're currently at. Smithfield, moving up there is going to open up a huge space there. We haven't had any direct dialogue yet. Just, I think right now it's in a that holding pattern, like the wow, what just happened phase to, obviously with new leadership coming in, those conversations. Again, if the people want to talk with us about, the possibility of moving downtown, we're always up for a conversation, not because we don't like where we're at, but it's just, it would be naive of us to not, or even, probably detrimental for us not to have those conversations. At the end of the day, this is our home, but if anybody wants to talk to us about, hey, would you like to talk about moving downtown? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with a conversation.
I mean, I first moved to Sioux Falls almost 20 years ago. There's never been a better kind of gelling of quality of team, quality of the ballpark, yet again, the charming nostalgia, the things you like about an old ballpark, and a reason to come out, either be here for all 50 games like an employee or a season ticket holder or somebody who comes once or twice a year. It just kind of feels like we're in a good spot and we're here for at least another few years. And I've always loved the trees that you can see out in the distance out there out on Terrace Park. It's a good view wherever you are here in the stadium, and baseball season is here. The ticket prices have been lowered. I think that's worth mentioning. What went into that, and what other kinds of things did you have as either minor or major changes, enhancements into 2026 that the staff worked on that you think people should know about?
Yeah, I think you hit on a big one, which is obviously when you're setting ticket prices in October, November, you can kind of look around what's happening around the world and discretionary spending as people are heading into summer months, and they're going to have some decisions to make, all families, what's affordable, what's realistic. And so we did lower our ticket prices. Again, affordability on certain nights. For example, Mondays are 50% off of all tickets other than, the Diamond Club right behind us. But, to go to a ball game for, $7 or something like that. Again, we want to be the place that people go, you know what, it's affordable, it's a great place to go, whether, again, I heard you talk about it this morning, colleagues, friends, neighbors, there's something for everybody here. One of the other things that we did is we actually turned one of our suites up here into a club room. We've never had a club room, and so it's just one of those things that's going to take a little bit to get used to, but it's very affordable. It's all you can eat and all you can drink, domestic beers and pop and water. If you want something a little bit stronger, those do cost. But it's your game ticket, inside, outside, just that controlled climate and just available every game for somebody if they want to. What we were running into is I don't have a group of 15 for a suite. I don't have a group for a party deck. Don't necessarily want to sit in the stands. It's 85 degrees, and so that's where this idea stemmed from. If you have 2 or 4, friends that are in town, bachelor party, bachelorette party, that hey, let's just go. Let's start off easy. Let's go to a baseball game. We're a great place for that. A small group to gather, have a great setting for it.
Yeah, whether it's your workplace or your family or a huge group of friends.
Yep.
So the club room, because I think you kind of described it, but some people are like, well, what's a club room? Because you see them in a bunch of other, pretty much every other stadium for any sport that you go to now, a club room. Just kind of paint the picture.
Yeah, so it's called the Perch, and so we're excited. It just sits on our suite premium level there, and so you have seats outside that overlook home plate basically, and then inside you have almost restaurant type seating, but we have a menu in there. We always have hot dogs in your ballpark fare. And then that's all included with the price of your ticket. And then we'll have a specialty item every day, too. So I think yesterday was spaghetti. Again, tonight might be sliders or something like that. But it's really just an environment you're supposed to go into, have a social aspect to it, but always have a place to watch the ball game as well.
We got our new food and beverage director, Kate, right over there, smiling new face at the park.
Oh, look at that, right on camera.
There she is. Speaking of the food and beverage, concessions, what can you tell people about? Every year there's a little this, a little that. Some get subtracted, added. What's kind of the theme this year?
Yeah, I think it hasn't changed since last year. It's really just to have the best darn ballpark food around. When you come to a ball game, you're expecting a really good hot dog or a brat or a hamburger. We're not going to have we're not going to have a filet mignon. If you're expecting a lobster, don't come here.
No sushi.
We're just not going to have it.
Yeah.
But we're trying our best to really get that ballpark feel to it, that when you come here, it's like, I know I'm getting this brat because it's the best around, or I'm getting this hot dog because it's the best around. We only use Nathan's here because Smithfield, obviously Nathan's.
Yeah.
So it's truly an emphasis on that, and as our season goes, we'll add in things. Whether there's a special item out there, and so always adjusting as we go month to month based on what's pricing, what's available, and what makes sense for us.
I think most people who their whole lives go to a baseball game since they were little kids, you just want the food to be warm and good.
Exactly.
The food that's supposed to be warm, and have some ice cream or some treats available, but make sure it's warm. The things that are crispy, and the beer and all the soft drinks.
Just make sure it's cold.
Are cold, and that's it's such, and it sounds so simple, but it's not always that simple when you're dealing with a lot of people.
Correct.
So a lot of work, as you have mentioned, goes into all that. And again, there's just all kinds of places to enjoy the game, whether it's in the seats or the suites or the club room. The party deck's out in right field. Are we doing anything with left field this year?
Nope, okay. Nothing with. Obviously you can head out there. The only thing that limits us out there is no shade out there, and so trying to keep anything cold and hot, like we just talked about, is virtually impossible.
There's a playground for the kids and bounce houses. So whether you're a little kid or bringing a little kid here, you could spend some time over there.
Yep.
For the adolescent kids to chase the foul ball around, the nervous energy, they can run around. The staff will keep them safe. And then people who love baseball are going to get plenty of baseball.
Correct.
People who are more casual are going to get plenty of entertainment, we hope, to make the night worthwhile. But you're probably going to become fans of some of these guys because they're great about autographs. These videos that play between innings, you see it at major league sporting events, but we have it here where they're showing off their personality. And so, again, it's just kind of a something for everyone type of thing.
I think that's the takeaway from this. We have something for everyone. If you come to this ballpark and you come to a ball game and you don't enjoy it, it's probably on you.
Sounds good. Did we leave anything out?
No, I love coming on here, though. I love talking. I love doing this with you.
I think we covered it all.
Absolutely.
And if we didn't, there's plenty more information at sfcanaries.com. And if this sounded like kind of a promotional video, sorry, I work here. It
is.
I'm a little biased, but you've provided plenty of good information. I think a lot of the community is talking about and wondering about. And again, they're very accessible. sfcanaries.com. Call the box office. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Brian Jamros, President, Sioux Falls Canaries. For video producer Cordell Wright, I'm John. A reminder, the Birds are here through Sunday on this opening homestand, and they're back Memorial Day weekend, Friday, Saturday. That's this weekend.
That's this weekend, and then we are back
We're
Friday,
back
Saturday,
the next
Sunday,
weekend,
yeah.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and there's a lot of fun themes and promotions. Area 51 night, Pokemon night, 4th of July celebrations.
Christmas in July. Happy Gilmore night. We're all over the place this year.
That's all the social media and website as well. Cheers.
You need anything else, John?
No, I think I'm good, Greg. I think I'm going to tap out.
All right. Have a good night.